So this just in, authorities have reported exactly what evidence they found against Diddy, and it's bad. So don't forget to...
He was in possession of a trove of digital evidence from Diddy's freakoffs and parties.
That was the worst part, and all I could think about was Kim and me.
Federal agents didn't go into Diddy's homes expecting to uncover a major scandal, but what they stumbled upon has shaken Hollywood to its core.
Federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
While they were going through the glamorous stuff you'd expect from a celebrity, fancy furniture, rare collections, and loads of memorabilia, they found something much darker.
I've had several calls about this guy, I've had several calls about his son, people reaching on the ladies' dresses, fondling them without asking for permission.
Hidden away were hard drives, tapes, and digital files containing footage that could potentially ruin some of the biggest names in Hollywood. And shockingly, right at the center of this mess, Jay-Z and Beyoncé, the powerhouse couple who've always seemed untouchable. Now, they're caught up in a scandal so intense it could completely shatter the image they spent years building.
Federal investigators collected at the homes of P. Diddy leading up to his indictment. This includes things like guns, ammunition, electronic evidence, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricant.
The rumors are wild, almost unbelievable, but they spread fast. Word is, when Homeland Security went through Diddy's private stash, they found some seriously disturbing footage. We're talking videos that allegedly show some huge celebrities caught in situations so bad, it's hard to see how they'll ever recover if the public finds out. And right in the middle of all the chatter, Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Their names keep coming up as this whole thing comes to light. People are saying Diddy feels hurt and abandoned by them, especially since they've stayed silent during his legal troubles.
Closer you get to the trial date, a lot of things start happening to remove people from the case that are going to strengthen the case for the prosecution.
Now the talk of the town is that he's not going down alone, and he might be holding on to receipts that could blow the lid off the entire entertainment industry. Word on the street is that a private party hosted by Diddy is invite only, with the biggest stars from music, movies, and sports. On the outside, it's all glitz, glamour, and photo ops, but behind closed doors, it's a whole different story. These weren't just parties. They were allegedly set up to push limits, lower guards, and capture everything on camera. And those cameras, they weren't just for memories, they were for power.
Feds reveal they are looking for a particular person that Diddy allegedly communicated with they want to investigate for more proof of Diddy's trafficking crimes. And I think this could be Diddy's longtime friend.
Insiders are now saying that these wild celebrity parties, which some are calling freak-offs, weren't just harmless get-togethers. According to people close to the situation, they were trapped. Guests believed they were in a safe private space, just hanging out with other stars. What they didn't realize, or maybe chose to ignore, was that everything was being secretly recorded. Every word, every sketchy moment, all caught on camera. And now those recordings are in the hands of federal investigators. The fallout could be massive.
Jay-Z, who is currently missing, as 50 Cent has pointed out.
As for Diddy's reasons, that's still unclear, but there's a growing belief that he's trying to even the score. If he's going down, he's not planning to go alone. Some sources even claim Diddy handed over the dirt himself, hoping it might help him strike a deal and save his own skin. And who's supposedly at the top of his hit list? Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Depending on who you ask, they either quietly backed away from Diddy when things started getting messy, or were actively working against him behind the scenes. Either way, if the betrayal felt personal, Diddy's rumored plan for revenge seems just as personal, and just as ruthless. Adding even more fuel to the fire is the return of a familiar and controversial voice, Jaguar Wright. Known for calling out the dark side of the music industry, she's been speaking up for years about the shady behavior behind Hollywood's closed doors. She specifically accused Jay-Z and Beyoncé of being a part of and benefiting from a toxic system built on power, secrets, and blackmail.
See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is.
Jaguar Wright has never been one to hold back, especially when it comes to calling out powerful figures in the industry. In a recent interview with Piers Morgan, she once again aimed at Jay-Z and Diddy, expressing her long-standing contempt for the two music moguls. But this time, she pushed the envelope even further. During the conversation, Wright urged Jay-Z to break his silence following Diddy's explosive legal troubles. When peers asked how many victims there might be in total, Wright didn't hesitate. She claimed there were thousands.
The drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying.
She then dropped a bombshell by bringing Beyoncé into the mix, suggesting that the superstar singer had also been involved in some of the alleged misconduct over the years. According to Wright, she's spoken to hundreds of victims and continues to support them. Most notably, she revealed that 3 of those victims are prepared to testify, not just about what Jay-Z allegedly did to them, but also about his behavior towards Beyoncé. It's yet another twist in a scandal that's growing darker and more tangled by the day, with Wright positioning herself as a voice for those she says have been silenced for far too long. Back then, a lot of people brushed her off, calling her bitter or irrelevant. But now, with Diddy's alleged tapes possibly backing up some of her claims, people are starting to listen. And the situation is spinning out of control.
Says a friend gave him 11 flash drives that belonged to the late Kim Porter. And if you follow this story, you'll know that Kim Porter is Diddy's ex-girlfriend and the mother of 4 of his kids.
According to People magazine, there's been a significant update in the ongoing legal drama involving Sean Diddy Combs, and this time it clears 2 of the biggest names previously linked to the case, Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The accuser, Joseph Manzaro, who initially filed a lawsuit alleging a disturbing 2015 incident, officially amended his complaint in Florida on April 11th. In the revised filing, he withdrew all mentions of Beyoncé and Jay-Z, removing them from the list of individuals allegedly present during the controversial events. So what prompted the change? Attorneys representing the celebrity power couple reportedly presented credible documentation proving their absence from the Miami party in question. According to People, Jay-Z was attending a public event at New York University during the time the alleged incident occurred. Shortly afterward, the couple was seen vacationing in Hawaii, a trip that was widely covered by the media at the time, backing up their airtight alibi. Originally, Manzaro had accused various attendees at a birthday party held for Combs' son at a Star Island residence owned by Gloria and Emilio Estevan. He claimed he was deed, transported, and publicly humiliated, even alleging that he was forced to wear an S-toy mask at another location. But with the amended complaint, all references to Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been removed, both as witnesses and bystanders. In a case filled with explosive allegations and intense media scrutiny, this update is a rare moment of clarity, at least for the Carters, who can now step back from the crossfire of speculation. Jay-Z wasn't in Florida at that time to witness this incident. He was engaged in easily findable public activities that prove he was not at this event, said Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, in a statement, adding, "This is more nonsense that erodes the trust in our justice system," as quoted by People magazine. This isn't just about wild parties anymore. The accusations go way deeper, pointing to a long-standing network of manipulation and exploitation involving big-name celebrities. Some of the footage is said to show well-known stars in situations that could lead to serious legal trouble, not to mention public humiliation that no PR team could clean up.
When that is finally revealed, 15 other will be revealed with it. And you will find that they were all committed by the same.
Meanwhile, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have been noticeably quiet. No statements, no denials, no slick Instagram responses. But behind the scenes, their legal team is clearing up the accusations, and that silence from the Carters is only making people talk more. Beyoncé's legal team has reportedly been working around the clock, firing off cease and desist letters to media outlets, demanding interviews be taken down, and warning anyone who dares to spread more damaging claims. It's a typical strategy meant to shut things down, but this time, it's having the opposite effect. The more they try to quiet the noise, the louder it gets. Online, things have gone into full meltdown. Fans and critics are picking apart every little thing, every post, every absence, every bit of silence from Jay-Z and Beyoncé. And one question keeps popping up. If they've got nothing to hide, why aren't they saying anything? But what's really made this whole situation even more disturbing is one chilling detail: the possible involvement of younger individuals. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but even the suggestion has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the public.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real.
The idea that underage individuals may have been lured, manipulated, or taken advantage of at these secretive parties is beyond alarming. These aren't just gossip-level claims. They're the kind of accusations that could lead to serious criminal charges. And if it all turns out that the Carters were present, as some sources allege, then their silence might start to look like something far darker than just PR strategy. The raid on Diddy's home has also reopened a painful and suspicious chapter in the death of Kim Porter, his former partner, and the mother of 3 of his children. Before her sudden and tragic passing, Kim was reportedly working on a tell-all book that insiders say could have exposed some of the darkest secrets in the entertainment industry. People close to her believe she knew too much. Now, with Diddy's alleged tapes reportedly backing up some of the things Kim had hinted at, her death is being looked at through a much more serious lens. Was she silenced? And if so, who else could be in danger now that these tapes might be in federal hands?
Court documents are now putting on blast a ton of other high-profile people that were involved with Diddy, and the list just keeps getting longer and longer.
Meanwhile, even Beyoncé's mother, Tina Knowles, has found herself caught up in the chaos, though unintentionally. She raised eyebrows after her Instagram account liked a comment related to the allegations against Jay-Z. The moment blew up online, with many wondering if it hinted at tension behind the scenes. Tina later claimed her account was hacked, but the internet had already made up its mind. For many, it was just another sign that the cracks in the Carter empire might be starting to show. But what's truly threatening to blow the lid off this entire scandal might not be online rumors, it's the legal system. Lawyers representing alleged victims are now preparing to file lawsuits, and these suits might not just target Diddy. Reports suggest that Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and other major names who attended these controversial gatherings could be named as well. If the evidence really exists, this could go far beyond celebrity gossip. We're talking about potential criminal charges, courtrooms, and long-term consequences that money and fame might not be able to dodge. And as more alleged victims come forward, the focus is shifting. This is no longer just about who went to what party. It's becoming a much bigger story about of power and long overdue accountability.
Lynch trafficking cases, the most common enablers of this activity are close relatives, families, and friends.
Still, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have kept completely silent, making no public comments. Their strategy seems to be staying quiet and letting their legal team do the heavy lifting. But people are starting to wonder, is this silence a sign of confidence or fear? Are they counting on their influence to protect them, or are they bracing for a fight so big that they can't afford to slip up? Now here's where it gets even darker. Word is spreading that some of the alleged footage might already be leaking on the dark web. Private online forums are reportedly sharing screenshots and short clips. If these are real, they could confirm some of the most disturbing allegations. And once they're out there, no amount of legal action or PR can undo the damage. For the Carters, this is no longer just about dodging a lawsuit. It's about holding on to a legacy they've spent decades building. But with each new leak, that legacy seems more and more at risk. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, the attention is now turning to the alleged victims. Their stories are starting to surface, and they're horrifying.
And then turn your head while he's f***ing a bunch of kids.
One woman whose legal team has already filed a detailed case says she thought she was being invited to a professional audition, a chance to appear in a music video. The invitation, she claims, came from someone connected to both Diddy and Jay-Z. But when she arrived at the party, held at a massive Miami mansion, things took a disturbing turn. She said she was offered a drink as soon as she arrived, a drink she now believes was spiked. Not long after, everything became a blur. She remembers being led into a private area of the mansion by people she recognized from the industry, but everything after that is hazy. Her lawsuit doesn't detail everything publicly, but even the implications have been enough to send shockwaves through the entertainment world. This is no longer just about celebrities. It's about real people, real trauma, and a disturbing world that's being dragged into the light. Here's the real shocker. She's not the only one coming forward. Since the raid on Diddy's properties, more than a dozen other people have shared similar stories. Many of them mention the same places, the same parties, and, disturbingly, the same big-name celebrities. These victims say they were flown in from different cities, promised fame or career breaks, only to find themselves in situations where they had no control. Legal documents show some victims have even handed over proof, photos, texts, and medical records, backing up their claims. While no official charges have been made against Jay-Z and Beyoncé yet, their names keep popping up in these stories, raising serious questions about what they were doing at these events. Meanwhile, lawyers for the victims describe a system built to protect the powerful at all costs. One attorney compared it to a fortress of wealth and influence, where organizers controlled the narrative tightly, silencing anyone who threatened to speak out through NDAs, intimidation, or worse. But now, with Diddy's tapes in the mix, many believe that the fortress is starting to crack. About those tapes, they've become the center of the storm. Insiders say the recordings don't just show celebrities in compromising moments. They reveal an entire operation to lure, control, and trap attendees, documenting everything to use later. Law enforcement says some footage includes timestamps and data pinpointing exactly who was where, making denials tough to hold up. And yes, the Carters' names have come up in connection with these timestamps, though their lawyers strongly deny any wrongdoing. For a couple like Jay-Z and Beyoncé, who have carefully built their image of perfection, flawless performances, polished interviews, and intense privacy, staying silent is getting harder to justify. Fans are split. Some stand by them, calling it a smear campaign.
This is gonna be the next Beyonce. Not. Beyonce's barely Beyonce. How you gonna make her the next something that ain't even really itself? I don't get it. Not.
Others want answers. Social media is buzzing. Why won't they say anything? Are they waiting for the perfect legal response, or hoping the storm will just blow over? Either way, their silence is speaking volumes to a public desperate for accountability. Behind the scenes, the Carters are reportedly scrambling. Sources say they've held emergency meetings with lawyers and PR teams, trying every possible way to limit the damage. There are even whispers they might sue Diddy, accusing him of trying to drag their names through the mud. But if Diddy really has the evidence people say he does, that kind of legal fight could backfire, possibly forcing those tapes into the public eye. That's a risk they probably can't afford. And it's not just about them. Reports hint that these tapes involve a long list of Hollywood and music industry heavyweights. Names are being quietly passed around, and former friends and collaborators are distancing themselves from Diddy, erasing any connection on social media. Even LeBron James, mentioned in some lawsuits as a witness to these parties, has stayed unusually quiet, which is rare for him. It feels like the whole industry is holding its breath, waiting to see who's next to be named. But beyond the celebrity drama, this scandal raises bigger issues. If the allegations hold true, and the tapes are as damning as insiders say, this is about a whole culture of secrecy and thriving behind the glamour and glitter of fame. The entertainment world has long faced criticism for protecting its own, but this might finally be the breaking point. Federal investigators are reportedly gearing up to file charges against multiple people, signaling that the days of sweeping scandals under the rug may finally be over. Even though this story mainly revolves around Beyoncé and Diddy, it points to something way bigger. The ugly truth about how celebrities' private lives are constantly being sold, exposed, and picked apart for profit.
Always on her knees. Always on her knees. Now the bitch don't want to get down on her knees no more. She got arthritis. See?
The idea that someone actually sold a private tape like this is seriously disturbing. It makes you wonder, who's making money from this? And why do people even want to watch something that was never meant to be public? Both Beyoncé and Diddy are reportedly taking legal action, and honestly, they have every right to. Leaking and selling private videos without permission isn't just wrong, it's illegal. Now that it's confirmed the tape was sold, this could blow up fast in court. But here's the thing, the damage may already be done. The fact that the tape exists and someone out there owns it is more than enough to keep people talking, digging, and speculating. In this situation, it's not just about these two stars. It's a harsh reminder of how messy and invasive fame can be. The pressure, the lack of privacy, the way people consume celebrity drama like it's entertainment, it takes a real toll on those living it. Right now, Beyoncé and Diddy are in a tough spot. They're not only dealing with legal issues, but also public judgment. If they speak out, it could change how people see them. If they stay quiet, it might make things worse. So here's what we're all wondering. Will Beyoncé and Jay finally speak up? Is Diddy really sitting on evidence that could expose more big names? Whatever happens next, this story is far from over. Let us know what you think, because this might just be the start of something much bigger.